step. In the odd year in between, your wages, dependent upon budget, will be adjusted based upon the current CPI or market setting.
That's one of many approaches, but yeah, I think you conveyed that back to me correctly.
And if we qualify it by saying dependent upon budget, then we would not make a promise that we could not keep, because there is a qualification in it.
Correct. But if that promise, and you're not able to keep that promise in successive years, I mean, I think what you're finding is your challenge is you're going to find yourself slipping in the marketplace. And so then it comes down to finding that priority or placing that near the top of the priority list that, okay, this is the year that we do this. We need to find a way to approach it and keep the system moving. So you don't have to call up in every other year to do a market update, or you don't have to worry about do we trim off the bottom couple steps because you find yourself in a position where you can't necessarily afford something.
Okay, I think we need to,
Madam Chair,
we're taking a bird walk here.
Madam Chair, I have one question I really do need to ask. Are you using CPI and cost of living in the same way, Patrick?
Nope, because the cost of living or cost of labor oftentimes exceeds the CPI. You know, if you rewind 2 or 3 years ago, I think we were sitting at 0.3, 0.4% CPI. But the cost of labor increase was actually about 2%. So sometimes they line up. I mean, you know, if I go back to the mid-90s, I mean, it was not uncommon to see union contracts for non-represented pay increases of 4% because that's what CPI was. But even when the CPI is stagnant, especially in recent years, we've seen wages increasing in terms of structural increases, lifting the pay plan of about 1.5% to 2%.
Thank you.
So sometimes they're interchangeable, but oftentimes they're not.
Okay, I'm gonna throw something out on the table, and you tell me what's wrong with this. My recommendation would be to implement the 40-hour week and step that provides at least 3 steps placement at the same time and started in July. The cost at that point in time would be, rough figures, $208,000.
280.
208. This does not address Pine Valley's issue that they're not giving their nurses enough money. If you did make the change, if my math is correct, if you did make the change on the time, you would be increasing their, if you did make that change, you would be increasing their hourly rate by 75 cents. If I did the math.
You just have Pine Valley.
Pine Valley's needs, they're saying, are not being met with the recommendation that I just made. Okay, so if you increase their time, that's, is my math correct? 75 cents an hour? No.
That's not, that would not be the wage increase, no.
No, that would, for the 3%?
The 3% would increase their take-home pay, but would not increase the rate per hour.
Correct. So you're increasing their take-home pay by 75 cents. Am I doing the math correct? I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to get at what the 3% of $25 an hour gives them. 75 cents. Am my math correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it does say that it is 75 cents.
Okay, so, thank you, my brain's not all gone. So, with doing that, you're giving them $1.25 lift in July. We're not meeting what you've asked for, but it's better than a poke in the eye. So this 208 implemented in July would be close to what we have said we have, although it's not in the right places. So there will be some departments that are over budget because the 2% is not enough for them. Okay. But we have to swing forward and look at what that would mean in 2019, which is about 500,000. Give or take a few pennies.
What if, not a, okay, I think what you're saying is at 75 cents a day, additional payroll. Okay, that's what it is, or $1,500 a year, by adding that quarter of an hour.
Okay.
That's what that does, moving that
There's
to,
still just on my value right now.
So we're
moving
switching
that to 40-hour, paid 40-hour week. You're still at the 25, 21 an hour. That, the rate per hour didn't change, it's just, you now have more hours.
They're putting more money in their pocket and not moving on the scale. And then with that more money in their pocket, when you do move on the scale, they have more money in their pocket. I guess what I'm trying to do is split the baby here, and I think we need to move forward. We need to move forward. We owe this to the employees. Is this doable? The 208, like I said, it'll be messy. There'll be some budgets over and some under, but that gives from July, well, from now until August or September when we do budget, we're gonna be needing to look for about $500,000. Whether that's increased revenue. Patrick, your background noise is a little annoying. So, is everybody following me what I'm saying here? So that gives us almost a year, if we implement this, to look at how we're going to roll that into the budget for 2019.
And you're just talking about, there's a 500,000 across the board. I got,
500,000 is in our general governmental budget. High Valley will have to take care of theirs, and we don't have.
Highway will take care of theirs then also.
Yeah.
But like Victor's office, he goes to 40 hours, plus the pay raise. Some of that will have to come out of Victor's pocket to pay the employees, are you saying?
No, I'm saying at budget time, we will have to decide. Are we going to allow more tax, he's totally on the tax levy. Are we going to allow more tax levy for that department in 2019? In other words, you're going to have to squeeze 500,000 or come up with more tax levy, which we might have another 100,000 coming in.
I'm still struggling with the fact that we don't have enough in placements. We don't have enough money in placements.
Well, do we want to take care of that before we take care of salaries?
I don't know, where do we want to go with this? There's only so much money, and we're short, what, 300,000 in placements?
Okay, for 2018, remember, for 2018, we have 800,000 in placements. We added 500,000 to that account.
And we're still short, what, 300 or
That,
400?
we're still looking at 70, the short piece.
18 is still short.
Not yet.
That's, it's a best guess.
Historically, it will be.
We've always made them whole by taking it out of fund balance. I don't think we'll change anything on it. I understand what you're saying, Junior, but I think the time has come that we may put the employees promise that we need to keep, we need to put it out there.
Madam Chair, I did some, and I'm not saying I'm 100% accurate
Tell me where I
with this numbers. I was simply looking at the RN rate at Pine Valley, and I don't know how accurate. If we were to go in the proposals coming out, or at step 3, for anybody after 2 years employment, step 3, and if we were to make that, I'm just gonna say it, retro for Pine Valley, because there's that need, or perhaps not retro, but just say February 1st. All right. And July 1st moved everybody then to the 40-hour pay. And my numbers may not be 100% accurate, but that appears to be about $1,000 annual pay lift
or
per RN in 2018. I don't know if that is sufficient. I think we have to keep in mind that we have 2 separate entities. We have the general government. Remember, right from the very beginning, Patrick and his partner said Pine Valley is separate from the rest, and trying to sit here and mix them both together, I think we're making a serious mistake.
then are we faced with the decision that we let them have a totally separate pay scale and we put everybody else, so then we'll end up with 3?
In the proposal, it is a totally separate pay scale already in their proposal.
So allowing them to start at a different place is maybe unrealistic on my part to keep. Well, I've said everybody has to be, the implementation has to be the same. Maybe that's not fair.
I agree that, Pine Valley, the competition, the employees there need more of a raise than every place else. And we're lumping all of the counties together in a way for all the employees, in a way we've got 3 groups. We've got Pine Valley, the courthouse and Health and Human Services, and Highway.
Sheriff,
And Sheriff, yeah.
because the deputies are working.
Yeah. And we've got such a screwed up mess, we need to get the screwed up mess started first, but I'd like to keep Pine Valley, they need to be separate and treated separate. So let them, they gotta worry about the pay increases.
So you're saying that they can start wherever they want and not have to be with everybody else?
Right, as long as their budget and they can afford to pay that, let them do it, or it's gonna close down.
I guess you gotta remember, and I don't know where my sheets are, but remember there's the grades. There's a totally separate grade listing for Pine Valley as it is for the rest of the general government. And that was done right from the beginning. And then there's steps going across the top. And I know I've got my copy of that somewhere, but right from the very beginning, the study had them separate.
Okay.
Madam Chair? Well, Grant County did the very same thing. They separated their nursing home from the rest of the government. They did that exact thing. But here was one of my feelings, and Kathy, I spoke to you this last week, or I emailed you about, at the end of October, we gave a nice shift differential addition there, or I think, was it PM shifts and night shifts? And I was happy about that, because that needed, I think we took it from $0.25 an hour to $1.50 at that time. That was at the end of October 2017. Okay? So I know all this other thing, these other things have to be mixed in, but I can't personally see why you can't take your wages where they are right now and put them on that line, give the people a raise like everybody else in government. I mean, why can't you put them on that same line? Starting at step 3 seems, I don't know that we're really starting at step 3 if we do that. Some of your people might be higher, I would think. Unless I'm not misunderstanding something.
Yeah, I guess I'm confused, what do you mean about them being higher at step 3?
Well, if we take their hourly wage, Chris, and we put them on that line and we say, you will get a raise. You will get a raise. You might be at step 6.
No, it's step 3 is step 3 for everybody.
Well, I'm not sure that's right. I
For the
think you might.
nurses it is.
I have the grade.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that why don't we program everybody the same, all government employees the same? Put them on that line, give them a raise and, boom.
Because for some people, like I have 2 staff members, if you put them in grade 3, you're giving them a significant pay reduction.
Well,
They're
they would stay
paid,
the same.
right, so they're not gonna be at step 3. Because they're gonna stay where they are until such time when the market catches them.
Okay. Well, that was, there are 13 employees in that situation. Okay, I understand that, but I think you might be better off to actually give them a little bit of a bump wherever they're at, wherever they fall on that line.
But you gotta remember, if you start everybody at step 1.
No, I don't. That's why I was having that conversation with them.
I guess I'm confused on what you're
Yeah.
saying, because I'm gonna use CNAs as an example. If you go, the next step to give them a raise is step 1, but then you eliminate the possibility of, okay, so I have somebody that's worked here for 10 years, they're moving to step 1, because that is the first step to give them an increase. Who I hire tomorrow as a CNA is gonna get that same rate.
I know, and I don't know that we have an answer for that.
That's why we proposed ours.
There is, and that's where you don't put current employees at step 1 or step 2. That's the answer. You start up the line at step 3 or step 4. Otherwise, that's exactly what will happen. A new employee will get the same rate. If you start at step 1, is gonna get the same rate as somebody who's been there 10 years. And that's not right.
And you have to remember, step 8 is market. That is what they should be paid. We're not asking for.
The entire step process is market, as I understand it.
No.
No,
Isn't it?
step 8 is market.
Only 8?
Only 8 is the market.
All right, well, I'm understanding that line differently.
Okay, 8 is the market. The reason we broke it back was because we can't afford market.
Right.
So,
Okay.
if it started at step 3, new employees would start at step 1.
You can decide whether you want them at step 1 or step 2.
Madam Chair, Patrick had a comment. Patrick, did you have a comment?
But most organizations we work with hire people lower than that market rate and progress them to the market over a period of time. Now, the only thing that doesn't exist in your plan, and this is especially because of the cost, is that there are no steps above that market rate, which most of our other projects do have, and it's something that we'll probably have to revisit in the next 3 to 5 years. But this gets you on the path. Step 8 is the estimated market for that grade.
Okay, let's go back to throwing things on the table and chewing it up and spitting it out. Fred, go back and say what you were saying before and put it into context of what I proposed for July 1.
Well, I think what I was trying to say is implement the new pay plan and get that implemented. And I was talking Pine Valley, I was using the RN rate as my example. Get that implemented, and I did say February 1st. I understand there's issues with the clerk's office getting the process done, et cetera, but start that, have Pine Valley keeping Pine Valley separate at one level, and general government can be a different level. The levels do not have to be the same, because they are two different pay scales. And then doing the 40-hour work week, maybe July 1st, but I think the first thing that has to be done is implementation of the plan. And then move to the 40-hour work week at 6 months later, maybe a year later, whatever. But you can stagger the starts. And I think for Pine Valley, I'm concerned if you start Pine Valley for their current employees who have been there at least 2 years or more, I think step 4 has to be the spot that you start. Whether step 4 is the spot you start with general government or not, that's a total different discussion, because you've got a different pay scale with general government than you have with Pine Valley. Does that make any sense?
Yes. So, that concept that we have everybody starting the same, we're putting that aside and saying Pine Valley will be treated different. General government would be treated in another way. The time frame, I do feel that we have to take into consideration Victor's office, and we were given March as a time frame start for implementation, because Tammy has a lot of things she has to do. I suppose putting the baby on that and saying Pine Valley can start February and the rest can start March.
I just think that's a negotiable item. But I think the pay plan, or I should say the pay plans, because there are two separate pay plans.
Right.
I think the pay plans have to be implemented first before you talk about the 40-hour work week.
Madam Chair, I'm wondering here, we're getting into an area of discussion where my refusal is required. Because we're talking sometimes about Pine Valley and other times we're talking about Chapel Hill.
As long as you don't talk and vote.
Right.
I've been quiet.
I noticed. Thank you.
Madam Chair, could we concentrate on one or the other, get it settled and go on to the other one? Because I think we have mixed the conversation.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's start with Pine Valley. They've made a recommendation that you start at level 4, correct? Step 4,
Current employees 2 years or more are step 4.
okay?
And what are new employees?
With the proposal that came forward, the new employee would be step 2. They have a probationary time period. After the end of probation, the employee goes to step 3. After 2 years, it goes to step 4. Now, that's the numbers, and that's at $310,000 cost.
So, are we comfortable with that and agreeing that that should be the proposal that goes in the resolution, that Pine Valley would be different in implementation and starting point? And we need a date, we want them to do that. Fred's suggesting February 1st. So that
I just
piece,
threw that number out. I understand the issue at the clerk's office. That's a real issue there in getting that stuff processed. And it may not actually get done till March, but it could be a retro pay.
That creates a whole nother set of issues, because retro pay has to be handled differently. Reported differently to retirements. We were hoping there would be no retro pay.
okay, the clerk's office is requesting no retro pay. So whatever we put forward, it needs to be something that can be implemented on the date. So,
And I just wanna say, are we gonna put in the resolution that the step will grow the next year up only based on finances? Because that's what he said that they put in.
right, but I don't, that, I think we have to say we're implementing the pay scale, the grade, the wage grades, and that we will not look at it every year whether we're gonna pay it or not. I don't think we can do that.
But I don't think we can afford it maybe every year. I don't see what, we have to have something.
We have to have a budget that reflects that implementation, and that means reduction in whatever. But we can't say, oh, we're gonna look at this every year, because that's what we've been doing, and then we say, nope, we don't have enough money for salaries. That's what we've been doing.
I know, but there's a reality here.
Well, what do we do if the institutional costs jump 200,000 next year? If we don't look, you know, if we have $200,000 extra expense there that we didn't plan on. Well, I mean, I'm saying everything is paid to date right now, but that's where I disagree with you a little bit, is if we don't look at this and not give an automatic increase, we're gonna be in the hole worse than we are now.
If we continue with what we have, yes. It's going to require more reductions.
So you're saying in a way that we could, in a way, maybe have to cut staff?
Yes.
Yes. Is he still there?
Yeah. He could mute his.
Yes.
That's what I asked.
Patrick, can you mute your phone? Because we're getting so much back feed.
I have nothing that's going on behind me. I can mute it, but I'm in a quiet room. I'll turn it off.
Wait, what?
There's nothing going on behind him, so
There's people.
something was on that. Don't know why.
Are you still there?
Yeah, he's muted right now.
I muted, but I'm gonna go back on mute.
Okay. Yes, there will have to be reductions. If we're gonna meet what this will require, there's gonna need to be either 500,000 increase in revenue, or some combination of reduction of expenses so that we can meet this commitment. So yes, there will be reductions in 2019.
I think that's kind of wishing with one hand and hoping with the other hand, you know, is what we're doing, but I understand
How else do we,
I understand what you're saying too.
Do those reductions mean, they include like when there are certain vacancies, certain places that they not be filled? Like, are they planned cuts or are they more attrition?
don't know yet.
Madam Chair, it'd have to be a reduction in staff. That's only, if there's no other place where there's any money.
Well, there are maybe a couple of programs and services that are mandated, possibly to be cut or removed.
Is that gonna come up at 500,000?
Well, with some, but
And like I said, we're still not covering our placements. We're still $300,000-400,000 short next year on placements.
Yeah.
Junior, that'd be an estimate, that was estimated from the budget meeting, and that's why two people didn't vote for it. They announced that we're 200,000 short.
We're 200,000 less than what they asked for. Let's
Yes.
be clear.
Yeah, estimated.
Let's be clear. They asked for $1 million, we gave them 800,000. The budget is not short. We did not give them what they asked for.
Let's even be more clear. Originally, they asked for 800,000 and then changed the number at the end of the budget hearing. So let's be clear on that too. did the 800,000 that was asked for back in August.
And I guess I'm a little frustrated because we have not gotten any feedback of, hey, thanks for the extra 500 that you gave us.
Thanks for the extra
Thank
500,000.
you, Tim. Appreciate that.
Kind of squeeze that out of you, Ken, didn't it?
Had to force you.
Well, Madam Chair, I'm gonna make a motion so we can move along.
Thank you. I've been throwing stuff out there, so go ahead.
And here's my motion, and this is going to apply only to Pine Valley, and I want everybody to remember that with this, there are two separate scales, wage scales. All right? This is for Pine Valley. That any employee who has been there for more than 2 years is placed at step 4. Brand new employees start at step 2 until they complete their probationary period and go to step 3. And I'll compromise on the hearing the clerks with that to be at a March 1st date. So it doesn't have to be retro.